Hey, what's going on? My name is Slammin Sammy. I'm a basketball lover. I love the game, love the NBA, love what's going on in the league. And, geez, I'm kind of hot, man. Hold on. Anyhow, I'm here to talk hoops. I recapped the first couple of weeks, talk about some things I saw, what I liked, what I didn't. Try to get your feedback. I hope somebody joins on here. If not, hopefully over time, we'll get some people talking, and I'll do some upgrades on how I'm doing these lives too. I just love to get some feedback, but I want to talk about the NBA and what's happening. First off, I want to talk about the Joel Embiid smackdown and all that's going on with there. What's up with this dude anyway? I mean, my gosh, him and Cat going crazy in it. And I'm glad they gave him a couple games suspension. I'm surprised that's all it was. I thought for the way he acted and the way Cat acted, they probably should have got 5 games. But, they're not going to keep these guys out. But I was still kind of surprised. I thought that was kind of light. And then what's up with Ben Simmons? Chokehold and Cat, and he's the peacemaker? Really? Wow. All right, whatever. So anyway, I found that whole situation to be kind of bizarre. I don't know how they can consider him a peacemaker when he's chokeholding somebody, but I guess that's how it went down. So what's going on in the NBA? First off, I got to talk about a couple injuries. Trae Young, man, that's a sad one. That dude was balling. Atlanta was playing well. He was leading the charge and really playing great ball for a youngster. I saw him take a couple shots that just made me go, weh. I mean, he was out there a good 35 feet sticking threes, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty impressive. And really bummer to see him go down this week. Also, have we ever seen anything in the NBA or in any sports? Let's talk any sports that goes from the Golden State Warriors being 5-time NBA Finals, 3-time champs, on top of the world. They hit the injury bug, hit them last year in the playoffs. Durant goes down. That hurt. And then in the 6th game against Toronto, Klay Thompson, playing out of his mind, rips out his knee, and they lose by 1. He ripped out his knee in the 3rd. I think if he had stayed in, it would have went to Game 7. I'm not saying they would have won, but I think it would have went to Game 7. So he goes down, and the demise of this team has happened so quickly. I mean, I don't even know if the Warriors are going to win 20 games this year. I really don't. Now, on top of it, I mean, they start off the first night getting absolutely blistered on opening night against the Clippers. Okay, it was disgusting. I'm like, what is this? And then I think it was doing the World Series the other night, and they're playing the Phoenix Suns, who are, yes, the Suns. The Phoenix Suns, real side note on here, are the surprise team of the NBA in the first 5 games. No doubt about it. This team surprising the crap out of everybody, beating good teams. They beat the Clippers. Warriors are not a good team. They beat the Warriors. They are playing ball. But anyway, I go to check my phone. It's like, I'm watching something else, watching the World Series, and my love for the Warriors is still there, but everything has changed this year, so I really wasn't paying attention much. But I flip it on, and I'm like, end of the first quarter. Say what? 43-14. I don't know if I've ever seen an NBA score of 43-14 after one period. I've seen maybe 35-14, but 43 points to 13 or 14. What? And to make things even worse, I mean, they're down by 30-something going into the 3rd, and they gave up 70-something points to the Phoenix Suns. I mean, this team has just gone from king of the crop. Everybody's hating on him. If you weren't a Golden State fan, which I am, the only reason I'm a Golden State fan is because I'm from Maine, and I love the Celtics. I've always been a Celtics fan. I'll always be a Celtics fan my whole life. But when Steph Curry came out of Davidson, I just started following the dude. I was a point guard when I played basketball, and I just loved it. I loved his game, and I wanted to follow him, so I did. And I started watching the Golden State Warriors, and they were nobody his first 2 years. He had busted up ankles. Then they started putting together a team, and they started to develop that team, and then they became who they were, the juggernaut. So we go from this team that's just unbelievable down to what? 43-14? Even with Curry? I don't care if Clay's gone. What happened to this team? What the heck? I've never seen it in sports. A team that was so great go to be so bad. I mean, you might as well cash it in, because in that Phoenix Suns game, Curry went down. Okay, freak accident. He's up in the air. He gets twisted upside down, so his head's heading for the floor on a drive. He comes down and he falls onto his hand, and some dude, big dude, lands on top of him, and he crushes his left hand and bakes it. I mean, he's done. He's going to be out at least 8 weeks. At this point, do you even bother? Do you bother even bringing him back and just call it, you know what? We're going to cash out this season. You know, the big problem with the Warriors isn't just the fact that they lost everybody, which they have, okay? I don't even know who they are. I was watching them in preseason. I'm like, oh, who's that guy? Who's that guy? They have like 8 young kids who've never played before on the team. I mean, this was a team that was built, and now I'm going to reference the Warriors of yesteryear to the Clippers of today. Okay? What made the Warriors so great? Everybody thinks, oh yeah, Durant, whatever. Before Durant came, what made the Warriors great was not their starting five was awesome. And Curry won the MVP the year he won the MVP, and they won 72 games. He was freaking phenomenal. Okay. The dude was awesome. Every night he was jacking, and he busted his own record for threes that year. He was the first and only unanimous MVP. He was stunning, and that team was rocking. But you know what really made the Warriors great? And it's the same thing that's going to make the Clippers go win the championship this year, most likely. When you put starting fives against starting fives in the NBA, sometimes they'll kind of null each other out to a degree. Even when the Warriors were great, they faced teams that had really good starting fives, and they nulled out each other. They were pretty even. What made the Warriors great and win was their bench. Guys like Iguodala, David West, Sean Livingston, Mo Spates. Okay, they had benches. Patrick McCaw. Thinking back even further when they had Harrison Barnes at starting forward, they had 5 guys that would come off the bench. JaVale McGee come off the bench, and Zaza Pazulia and Andrew Bogut. They just had people. They were deep. That's what made them great, is that when their starters went toe-to-toe and another team went toe-to-toe, it was their bench that outscored the other team's bench. And I'm telling you, from watching the Clippers in the first 5 games of this year, that's what I see. Okay? I see a team that's deep. They were deep last year. When I watched them play against the Warriors last year, they were pretty awesome. And if they had a star or two in that team, they probably would have beaten the Warriors or been darn close to it in that opening series. They gave Warriors all they could handle in that series. And I remember watching it, and I was scared. I'm like, gee, this Clippers team's playing their hearts out. And I see that this year, and they're deep. Their bench that they have comes in, Lou Williams and what's his name, Harold. And they've just got people that can play coming off the bench. And that's going to be the difference maker to me. So far in the NBA, if I had to pick a team in the East and the West, I'm going to go with the West first, and I'm going to say, you know what? Right now, today, barring injuries, the LA Clippers are a badass team. And then, you look at Kawhi Leonard last night pumping in 38 points, and he's been dishing the ball out like the best point guard in history. The guy's been assisting so well and really getting his team involved. And you look back at his history, and I kind of was like, whatever, dude, with the whole San Antonio thing. I still don't know what really happened there. And whether he had a run-in with Popovich, he didn't like the players, I don't know. Something happened when they let him go. And, Toronto, hey, you won your championship. Congratulations. You also gave up DeMar DeRozan, who wanted to be your franchise player. I never agreed with that trade. It paid off, but everybody knew, I kind of knew, Kawhi wasn't going to go back to Toronto. He had been saying for 2 years that he wanted to be home. His home is in LA. That's where he wanted to go, and that's where he is. He was able to dictate pretty much where he wanted to go. He wasn't going to play with LeBron. Without really coming out and saying that, I don't think he wanted to play with LeBron. I think there's certain people that don't want to play with him. I mean, LeBron's awesome. Okay, I'm not sitting here to bash LeBron. I won't, because I've watched him play his whole career. The dude is a baller. He's one of the best that's ever played the game. He's awesome. He's awesome. I don't like what he gets away with. I think he bully balls people. And his whole career, he's been getting away with blowing people out with his arm and running people over. And I don't agree with that kind of basketball. I just don't. I don't. I hate that. I hate when, as a defensive player, if you've got position and somebody runs you over and a foul is on you, what? I can't buy into that. I just don't agree. I mean, what are you supposed to do? My thought process is always, okay, so if he's going to run you over and not get called for an offensive foul, what am I supposed to do as a defensive player? Get out of the way? Oh, go ahead and dunk it. Just go run to the basket and score. And I don't like that they've done that, LeBron. But anyway, back to the West. I think the Clippers right now, they're too deep. They're too good. We haven't seen LA at full strength yet, the Lakers, so I don't know yet what they have. Rondo hasn't played yet, and Rondo's a great ball player. Kuzma hasn't played yet, and he's a really good ball player. Until they get healthy and we see what they really got, and maybe they add an Iguodala to that team, they might compete with the Clippers. Can you imagine if it ends up being the Lakers and the Clippers in the Western Conference Finals? How fun will that be? I would actually really enjoy that. I mean, Anthony Davis, he's a beast. He's awesome. The Celtics tried to get him for 4 years. They were begging him to come. And I, as a Celtics fan, I wanted him to come. But they didn't get him. He went to L.A. and is playing with LeBron. What else in the NBA we can talk about? Phoenix Suns, awesome. I think they're playing great ball. I don't know how long they're going to hold on to that, but they're playing really well. Let's jump ship here and go to the Eastern Conference for a minute. We've talked a lot about the Western Conference. Oh, one last thing about the Western Conference. Houston Rockets. Really? 159 to 158 this week against Washington? What the hell was that? I mean, I didn't watch the game. I didn't even watch the replay of it. But I'm thinking when a team scored, they just stayed at their end, and the other team ran down and scored, and they stayed down and probably passed the ball back down to the other team, and they just made layups all night. What the hell is that? 159 to 158. Does anybody play defense in that game? What the heck was going on? How does that even happen? Bizarre. And you know what? The Houston Rockets, they've been trying this style of basketball, this D'Antoni, isolation, harden, dribble around, shoot the ball crap for 4 years, and it hasn't worked. What do they think that this is now going to work anyway? They really think that's going to work? I doubt it. Don't look like it. Have all the fun you want, and it sure will be entertaining, and the people may enjoy watching a team jack up 159 points. But when it comes playoff time, good luck with that. Good luck with that. They don't play defense. Harden can't play defense. The only year that 1 year they almost knocked off the Warriors, and if Chris Paul hadn't gone down, they might have. I'm going to say they might have. They had some defenders, Patrick Beverley, Trevor Ariza. They had some guys who could defend. You don't win championships without defense. Everybody thinks the Warriors, they don't really realize how good defensively the Warriors were. Okay? When they won their championships, when they were in their heyday, not last year, but the year before, and then before Durant came, that team used to go on like 28-4 runs, 25-6 runs. That's what the difference maker was in a lot of games, is that they would come out in the third quarter, clamp down on defense, and smoke the other teams. You can't win without defense. And it just doesn't happen in the NBA. Regular season's fine, but not in the NBA. Not when it comes to playoffs. So over to the East for a minute. I want to talk about probably my favorite game of the week was the Celtics-Bucks game. Talk about a tale of two halves. The Celtics couldn't make anything in the first half. Somehow they hung in there. I think they scored 46 points. They shot 34%, and they hung in there, down 11, I think, and didn't do much in the first 5-6 minutes of the third. And then suddenly they caught fire. Tatum and Hayward caught fire and barreled their way back, took the lead before the end of the third, and absolutely made the Bucks look silly in the fourth quarter with their defense and with their scoring. Awesome game. Awesome game. It was funny because I was not really watching it after the first half. I flipped it over to the All-Stars, the Major League All-Star game, watching Houston and the Nats. And I flipped on my phone. I checked the score. I'm like, what? 76-73. Celtics are down by 3. So I went back over and watched, and sure enough, man, they played some great ball. So who's the king of the East at this point? I don't think that's been answered through whatever 6 games. You've got Milwaukee. Boston beat Milwaukee. Milwaukee has been playing great. They beat the Clippers. I don't remember who that. I'm trying to think what game they is. And then you've got Philly as well. Philadelphia is a really good team. I don't know who to put there at this point. I think you have to just say, you know what? Celtics, Bucks, 76ers are all 1-1-1. And then whoever's in 4th. I don't even care. Those are the 3 best teams. Toronto, maybe. Those are the 3 best teams in the East. Toronto may be in that conversation. But, you know, my problem with the Celtics is that they have these stretches where they just can't. This has been going on for now. This is the 3rd year. They have these stretches where they just can't make a basket. And it goes on for like a quarter. You're just like tearing your hair out. It's like they keep chucking threes and they're not going in. You get frustrated with it. It's like, you know what? If the threes aren't going, do something different. We become so dependent on the 3 that it's just ridiculous sometimes. Like, stop shooting it. You can't make it. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here at this point. That's my recap of the NBA. We're off into November, and I'm going to try to do some more advanced streaming coming up. I'm working on utilizing OBS, maybe adding some cool graphics and stuff in here, make it a little different and fun. I hope you'll follow me and subscribe to my channel. I plan on doing lives all throughout the season, talking about the NBA, and I'll try to put together a schedule so you know when I'm coming on. Maybe we can plan. I'd love to hear your feedback. I'd love to hear your chatting in here and have some conversations and talk a little basketball schmack up and see what your opinions are. And I hope you'll follow me. It's Slammin' Sammy here, and I'm checking out. I'm a hoop lover.